So I just wanted to get you moving around a little bit and make sure that we were awake. And so today's message is called Plug Into Your Potential, okay? Just plug it into your potential. A lot of stuff that you hear today is not gonna be brand new. It's gonna be stuff that you heard before. I'm just trying to get you to do it. And also towards the end, you have a little red card on your desk. I made a workout, I'm putting together a workout for all Lupus Rally participants. It's on my online fitness generator, so it's absolutely free. You just go in and type in Lupus Rally, password Lupus Rally, and I'm gonna have some workouts posted because I don't want you to have the hot air balloon effect. So the hot air balloon is, I come in here, I talk about fitness, you get amped up, and then you go to somebody's like, man, AJ, he was talking about something that's pretty cool. Well, what'd he say? I don't know, but it's pretty cool. And that's nothing. It's like a hot air balloon. You blow up a balloon, you let it go, and then it just runs out of air. So I don't want that. I want to have all sorts of free sources that you can plug into. And, we start something now. The workout is going to go all the way. It's going to carry you all the way until December 29th. And anytime you have questions, you can just shoot me an email. And this is what I do 24/7, and it's absolutely free, okay? So a little bit about me, the way I got into it. Since 2005, I've been a fitness trainer. And fitness trainer and motivation, they go hand in hand. And so I study motivation more than I study anatomy because the information is already out there, okay? But in 2001, I went into the Army as a combat medic. I thought I went into the Army as a medic, but when I went into boot camp, they said, oh, you're a combat medic. You're gonna go out here. So wasn't working in the hospital, I was out in the field. And in 2004, I went out to Iraq and I spent 14 months out there as a combat medic. And the thing is, thank you. And so my plan was to go into the Army, do the medic thing, and then go, is anybody in the military or have any family members in the military? So Green to Gold is a program where you can go from being enlisted and you go into an officer. So I wanted to be a PA and I wanted to go into medicine. But whenever I went out into Iraq, I found out that I didn't like people knocking on my door all the time. Because here's the thing, 80% of obesity and diseases comes from it's self-inflicted. It's things that we do with just poor eating habits and poor exercise. Now, lupus, it goes into the other 20% where it was nothing you could do about it. It just hit you, and now you got to find a way to deal with it. But the message today and why I got into this, it all goes hand in hand that if you do something right now, it will improve how you feel and it will amplify what you can do as far as for yourself, for your family, and moving on to the next level. Rewind back when I was in Iraq, I was on Ambien, okay, that's sleeping pills. I was on different types of anxiety meds because I got a family history of that. And when I came to that realization, when people would knock on my door, even though I was just a medic, they call you doc. And so they'll knock on my door, hey doc, I got diarrhea, give me something. I'm like, oh man, so I give them some Imodium. Hey doc, my knee. And then I was just passing out pills like they were Skittles, okay? And then I was on pills as well, and it started to bother me. I started to read up and research because, you have to get your continuing education on. I started to study anatomy, and I found that the 80% of all diseases and the reason why we're overweight is self-inflicted. And so after a while, I was a sergeant, so I had a squad of 8 soldiers, so they had to do what I told them. So after a while, I would take my soldiers, we would go out into the blacktop, and we would work out, and I would make sure they eat, make sure that they were hydrated, and they weren't getting sick as much as the other people. And so when people started knocking on my door, I started to say, oh, well, go do this and get a plate of food, or come on, go exercise. And then before they started to get results, they started to tell on me with the first sergeant, like, hey man, doc is going crazy, he's trying to make me. But after a while, they started to get it, okay, because fatigue is the #1 killer. That's another thing I found out there. More troops die from accidents and just from fatigue than they do in actual combat, okay? And so I started to look at fitness from that mind frame. For me, when I work out, for me it's life or death. That's why I'm exercising. I'm exercising for now, my mood of the day, my quality of life moving forward. So whenever I got home, I found out that we're still on the battlefield, okay? When you go to the work, if you work behind the desk, you're on the battlefield. I don't care what you say. And fatigue is the #1 killer. Why do we get in a bad mood? Because we're tired. When we wake up, why do we want to go back to sleep? Because we're tired. Why do we not get as much work done as we need to? Is because we're tired. And so I started to find that I started to do more research, and I found that I wanted to get into prevention and just feeling better. So whenever I started to exercise, I was able to kick it. I stopped taking the Ambien. I stopped taking it cold turkey. And I'm not coming out here to tell you to do that, okay? Because I was on the 80% of self-inflicted, you're on the 20%, but the message is still the same. So I started exercising, I started eating right, I started learning how to do the right thing, and it just helped me so much, and it helped the troops. And if somebody was out of shape, they just sent them to Sergeant Tucker, they would send them to me, and I would pass out workouts in a tent in Iraq, and that's where my fitness career began. So fast forward to 2005 when I got here, there we go, okay? So whenever it comes to fitness, there is 4 legs of a table, okay? Don't think that you have to come out here and, you know, be just a super stud to start a workout program. You can hold a can, okay, of veggies and move them around if that's all you can do, and that will help you get to another level, all right? The 4 legs of a table, and it's all in order of importance, is nutrition, exercise, rest and recovery, and supplementation, okay? And so I'm gonna talk about each point, and when it comes to supplementation, in this scenario, talk to your doctor first, because you have different limitations than other people do, where I can say, hey, well, take this or take that, okay? So the first leg of the table, nutrition, all right? So we're gonna go over a couple of things, nutrition. If you have notes, you can take a few notes, and I'm just gonna go over some basic stuff, all right? So the frequency of meals, you wanna eat 3 to 5 times a day. And I'm not saying just big, full meals or anything, just eating throughout the day. You want to treat your body like a fireplace, okay? And raise your hand if you skip breakfast every single day. All right, good, good, all right. And some of you not telling the truth. That's okay, that's all right. You know, man, he's gonna tell me to come out here. So you skip breakfast, and then you may miss lunch because of your work schedule, and then it just goes downhill from there. Well, whenever somebody tells me that they skip breakfast, I always have to tell you the sumo wrestler story. A sumo wrestler in Japan or China starts his career at 185 pounds. Now, there's no weight limit. There's no weight limit for a sumo wrestler. So basically, the more you weigh, the more you win, the more you get paid. So a sumo wrestler in a span of 5 to 10 years can go from 185 to 400 pounds, all right? A sumo wrestler works out about 3 hours a day, all right? Raise your hand if you work out 3 hours a day. I don't. I don't. I mean, sometimes I don't even work out for 20 minutes, okay? Like, I might do a 20-minute workout just with time, but a sumo wrestler works out 3 hours a day. So how in the world can a sumo wrestler go from 185 pounds to 400 plus pounds, all right? So I'm just gonna call just randomly, what's your name, ma'am?
Alicia.
Alicia, all right, so Alicia, if you wanted to gain 200 pounds, how many times would you eat a day? If you wanted to gain 200 pounds, as quick as possible.
8.
8 times a day, okay. What's your name?
Liz.
Liz, what do you think? How many?
I don't know.
If you wanted to gain 200 pounds, you don't want to do that though, right? But if you want to gain 200 pounds, how many times would you eat a day?
Maybe 3. All the time.
Maybe 3 times, all the time? Okay, some of you, oh, she raising her hand, what's that? What's your name?
Roxana.
Roxana, what do you think?
I would say probably as minimally as possible.
As minimally as possible. A sumo wrestler wakes up in the morning, they do a ritual, and they purposely skip breakfast. They purposely skip breakfast so they can gain weight. And a sumo wrestler eats once or twice a day. Okay, so I tell people, hey, if you want the body of a sumo wrestler, continue to skip breakfast, continue to eat once a day, and you'll have that body, or I guarantee it, or your money back, okay? That's what I tell people. And so normally when I tell people, they start eating breakfast, and you know, and here's the thing, you don't have to eat a full breakfast, okay? If you're not used to eating breakfast, and you throw a bunch of calories into your body, then you're not gonna feel good. You're just gonna get sick and it's not gonna work. So you just start with a little bit, 5 almonds, a couple of grapes, or a low glycemic fruit. And on my website, I have examples of low glycemic fruits. So if you're a diabetic or you know somebody that has diabetes, the glycemic index will help them out as well, okay? But if you want the body of a sumo wrestler, skip breakfast. So just remember that in your head when you wake up and you're looking at that apple, you don't feel like knocking the apple down. But whenever you eat breakfast, it's the most important meal of the day. Why? Because whenever you go more than 3 hours without a meal, you're fasting, okay? But whenever you sleep, you can't sleep for 3 hours. You gotta sleep at least, 6 to 8 hours. And so whenever you wake up in the morning, breakfast stands for break the fast. You have to break the fast. If you don't break the fast, you're sending signals to your body, and your body is gonna stop trusting you. Your body's gonna say, man, this girl, we don't know when we're gonna get another meal, so you know what? Let's go ahead and store some fat over here just in case she doesn't eat. And no matter how much you cut your calories, you will still continue to gain weight. I know one lady, her name was Deandra, okay, she's one of my clients. She went from a size 0 to a size 18, and that's when I met her. And one of the main things that she did, she was a hard worker. I mean, she worked at Walmart. She worked in loss prevention, okay, and it was just a demanding job. And over a 15-year span, she went from a size 0 to a size 18, and one of the main things she didn't do was eat breakfast, okay? So I spent enough time on breakfast. I'm gonna go to the next thing on nutrition. So you wanna avoid sugars, okay? Just avoid sugars, avoid them. You already know this, okay? But also your protein to carb ratio, you don't wanna have just a bunch of carbs whenever you eat all day, because what's gonna happen is gonna spike your insulin level, and what goes up must come down. And so if your blood sugar is going up and down, then your body can't burn fat, okay? So if you wake up and you eat a banana, okay? Bananas are healthy, they're great, but if you eat a banana by itself, it can spike your insulin level, all right? And it just makes everything hard. But whenever you plug into the website, we have all the information, recipes, and all sorts of stuff for free, okay? So frequent meals, protein to carb ratio, drink plenty of water, okay? When you drink a lot of water, when you drink enough water and your water levels are right, you burn an extra 30% of calories every single day, okay? So let's say you burn 2,000 calories a day and your water levels are correct, you're gonna burn an extra 600 calories a day. Whenever you do a 1 hour, you do a boot camp workout, right? Yep. Whenever she does a 1 hour boot camp, how many calories do you think you burn?
About 600-800.
About 1,600?
600.
Oh, okay, I thought she said, I was like, man, what? I wanna join that, let me get a card. But so, in a 1 hour boot camp, she goes 1 hour and we just take her through all sorts of stuff, and she burns about 600 calories. So your water levels are right, you burn an extra 600 calories. That doesn't mean that you can go to Walmart, get you a gallon jug of water, and just kick back and be like, well, I don't have to work out, I'm drinking enough water. You do both, And it just plays into each other's hand. Water also helps you clean out your system, and also it helps control the appetite, all right? The second leg of the table, exercise. So the acronym for that is FITT, fit, okay? So the F stands for frequency, okay? You have to work out a certain amount of times per week if you want results. So it's a wide range for what we're trying to do, 3 to 6 times per week. That's how many times you want to exercise, and that is a very wide range. So someone like Rachel, I'd probably have her work out 5 or 6 times a week. Someone like Angela, I would have her work out about 3 times a week. It just depends on where you're starting. You start where you can, and then you move forward from there. So don't just go into an exercise program and watch The Biggest Loser and just try to do what they do. And who watches The Biggest Loser? It's a great show. It's a very motivational show, but you have to keep things in perspective. You can lose about 1 to 3 pounds per week whenever you're on a weight loss program. One thing that I didn't know about this show that I found out is whenever they do the weigh-ins, they do the weigh-ins every single week, right? But if you listen to them, you never hear them say, last week, so-and-so weighed this much and they lost 20 pounds. They say, last time. And so sometimes a weigh-in will span over 1 month. It may span over 3 months. They videotape it and they show it week to week. So I have a lot of people come to me like, oh man, so on Biggest Loser, they lost 20 pounds. I'm like, what'd they do, chop off a leg? Okay, so you just wanna keep things into perspective and keep a real point of view, and just do a little bit of a time and be consistent, just like a stalactite or stalagmite, how those are made, just a little drop of water consistently over time, and you can build your body up and you can do more and you can feel better and be better for everybody else, okay? So the I stands for intensity, okay? So you have to have a certain amount of frequency and a certain amount of intensity whenever you work out. For some of us, like Rachel, and she's gonna demonstrate, I have her doing all sorts of crazy stuff, all right? And for Angela, I do the same workout, because Angela, this is how I got plugged in. Angela, she plugged me in, and so I appreciate you for plugging me in to such a great organization, a wonderful opportunity, because Angela don't know it, but I use her as one of my positive motivators. She came out to my class one day, and she was working hard. I had no idea. I just thought that she was just another person coming out to work out, and then she told me that she had lupus. And when she told me she had lupus, I had no idea what that was, okay? And she kind of explained it to me that it just really just zaps your energy from an energy standpoint. So she was worried that whenever she started to work out that it would zap her even further. But so Angela, do you want to just kind of talk about a little bit like how you started, just a quick 3 to 5 minute commercial? If you want to go further, you can.
Hello,
everybody. My name is Angela Johnson, and I'm like most of you here. I have lupus, and I've had it for the last 17 years. And I've been taking steroids for that long as well. So we all know, depending on the day, we can gain, from day to day, you lose 3 pounds, gain 3 to 5 pounds, it just depends. And just like you, I experience fatigue. Just if I just wake up in the morning, I may wake up tired, or my bones may be achy and sore. And then I have a family history of, various illnesses, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and even lupus. So I had to make a decision with myself, knowing that I have lupus, there are gonna be drugs that I'm gonna have to take. So what else can I do to help control this weight gain? The steroids make you eat, so there's nothing that we can take that can suppress our appetite. We just have to make sure we choose things, like instead of a candy bar, Snicker, which we would like to have, we should maybe eat an apple or possibly some celery or broccoli. And so what I've decided that I needed to do was I needed to be mobile. Even though, I'm tired, I need to get up and move around, because some of you can relate to me when you're in the hospital and you stay for long periods of time, your muscles start to get slow and sluggish. And, I've had to learn how to literally walk all over again because I've been in bed for the last month and a half. And the only thing I do is get up and go to the bedroom. So, I have been interested in boot camps always. And I chose the boot camp because I needed some discipline. I can't go online. I'm not going to do the Zumba we tape at home. It's just not going to happen for me. So I needed some accountability. And so when I went to him, I was reluctant, because you think of boot camp, I'm thinking he's going to say, get down and do 50. Well, I can't get down and do 50. I'm going to need some moderations or some alternatives when we get ready to do exercise. So I had a conversation with him, and then especially he told me he was in the military. Y'all know how military people can be,
I don't know what you're talking about.
We gotta do it. And so, we had this conversation, and I told him a little bit about my situation. And, like he said, he had no clue what lupus was gonna be about. But I fed him information, brought him brochures so that he could have the information, and then he and I could work together as a team. Also with this, I did check with my doctor. And most of your doctors, I'm sure, have told you, okay, we need to do something. Walk in the mall, walk down the street, do something to get active. So with AJ, I go out and I go to boot camp. We get up at 5 o'clock every morning. He has, like he said, Rachel, who can do everything. And then he has, me, where I'm just starting. So we talked about your intensity, and he always says crawl, walk, and run. So you don't just have to get out there and do 100 jumping jacks. You don't have to do that. But the most important thing here is that you need to be mobile. And the thing that I like most about AJ, and he's been a godsend to me, is that we know that lupus' #1 symptom is fatigue, right? When I leave him after an hour workout, most people would think that you'd be fatigued, but I leave him with a day full of burst of energy when I'm done with him. And that comes over time. Now, I don't wake up feeling that way. I wake up want to stay in the bed. But I go ahead and get up and go, even if I don't do as much as the next person. I still got up, I exercised, I moved my limbs, and it worked for me. And it made me feel better. If I was having a bad day, feeling sad, I get to increase my self-esteem. I get to tone some of what the steroids want to untone for us at different times. So, it works. And so I just want to encourage everybody, we're here today to just kind of show you that you don't have to go to boot camp, but there are some things that we can do. Carolyn here also goes to boot camp, and she has a story as well. She probably can do a little bit more than I can do, but she can relate as well, that she works at her own pace, and she doesn't try to keep up with the fastest person in the class, right? Correct. And then we have Miss Beverly over there that's in the corner. She's sitting down. As you can see, she's not as mobile as me, Rachel, or Carolyn, but she's going to also be here as an example to show us, whether you're able to walk all the time, whether you're in a wheelchair or whether you're in a walker, there's still going to be some things that you will be able to do so that, you can participate and you can move and you can get your heart, to pumping and the blood to moving. Thank you so much for listening to my story.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate that, Angela. It just has so much more impact whenever you hear somebody that's going through the same thing that you are. Because when I come out here and I'm jumping around, y'all looking at me like, man, he don't know what I'm going through, okay? And I don't, that's true. But what I do know, if you do a little bit more from a physical standpoint and you watch what you eat a little bit more, then you will feel so much better on the day-to-day basis. And that's what we're here for. This is the Lupus Rally. We're here celebrating, our health, but we're also trying to find ways to cope with such a debilitating situation. All right. So back to our FIT acronym. All right. So the I stands for intensity. So 1T stands for type or tendency. What type of exercise? And right now at this point, you can do anything. Okay. You do a boot camp. I don't care if you go belly dancing. Okay. You can do that as long as you're moving yourself a little bit more than you are now. You can go outside and walk. All right. If you can't walk, there are things that you can do. She's a friend of mine now, but one of my clients, her name is D. I got a lot of D's but her name is also D as well, but she's from Chicago. And about 10.5 years ago, she got in a car accident and she was paralyzed from the waist down. And she gained a lot of weight. She went all the way from 160 all the way to 280 pounds, and she was a size 26. Okay, so she would go to the gym and she would try to get her trainers. And, I'm a trainer, and trainers didn't want to touch her. They was like, oh, she's paralyzed. They didn't want to touch her. And so I have an online software, and she found me online, and we started, and I didn't do anything special. This girl, she was very determined, and she would have got the results whether she talked to me or talked to somebody else. But she would hit me up every single day asking, what can I do? What can I eat? Doing the 4 legs of the table. And she was so determined that she would tie a rope to a pole and she would just drag herself across the ground. And I was like, wow. But anyway, make a long story short, she got back down to a size 8, 165 pounds, and she's kept it off since 2007. All right, now she moved to Colorado, she's married, and I think she's going to have a baby. I need to give her a shout today and see where she is, okay? But the type of exercise, you pick a type. What kind of type should you pick? Something that you like, something that you would stick with, whether that's a gym workout, whether that's an in-home workout, or whatever that may be. Whatever the type is, it has to be something that you enjoy because it's more of a chance that you will stick with it, okay? The last T is time, all right? The amount of time that you should exercise. And the time, for me, it ranges in between 5 minutes all the way up to 2 hours, okay? Don't think that you have to go to the gym and do a 1-hour workout, because a lot of times we don't have time to do that. So what happens is we don't feel that we have the time to do it, so we just don't do anything at all, okay? There's a lot of times where I don't have time, but if it's just 5 minutes, I do something. And some people may think that, oh, you can't get a workout in 5 minutes. I bet you can, okay? You can get a real good workout, and you can ask Angela, you get a real good workout in 5 minutes. And then I always tell people, I just counter with, hey man, babies have been made in 2 minutes. So if somebody can be creative, surely I can get a workout in 5 minutes, okay? So that's just how I see it, but you just have to do something. I try to do something every day. My mantra is sweat every day. If I sweat every day, I'll know I'll be good to go, whether I get a good workout in or whether I just have time to get a 5-minute workout, okay? So nutrition, exercise, the third leg of the table, rest and recovery, okay? You can't just say, you know what? I'm gonna work out for 10 minutes. I'm gonna work out for 5 hours and I'm gonna get more results. It doesn't work that way. Rest is just as important as exercise, okay? And that doesn't mean, don't take what I say and run with it, because it happens to me sometimes. Don't say, oh, well, AJ told me to rest, so, I'm gonna take a month off. No, it doesn't work that way. You do your workout, you put the right things into your body that helps you recover. You make sure you get to bed on time. I know Scandal is a good show, but don't stay up all night watching Scandal or anything like that. Get yourself to bed and then wake up for you to get the next workout, okay? Because the faster you recover, the faster you can work out again. And your workout may be a 1-hour bike ride, or it may be a 20-minute Zumba session. Whatever it is, make sure you sweat every day, all right? The last leg of the table is supplementation, all right? And in this case, talk to your doctor. Just ask your doctor, because the supplementation means fill the holes and gaps of your nutrition. There's no magical powder out there. There's nothing that you can take. There's so many people just running around like, hey man, I got this stuff, you should take it, it's great, it's gonna make you feel good. And it's not necessarily true, all right? All the powders and pills, all they are is food just boxed up, okay? But here's the thing, the food that comes out of the ground now is not the same food that came out of the ground 40 to 50 years ago, all right? Just with the pesticides and the way they make food. Has anybody ever seen that show, that movie Food Inc.? Yes. Oh my goodness. If you watch that show, I watched that show, I got so mad, I didn't want to eat anymore, because all the research that I've done, it just shows you just everything is messed up. Just don't eat. That's basically what I got. I was like, man, you know what? I'm just going to get that out of my memory. But just watch it. It's pretty interesting. It will open your eyes. It's called Food Inc. And it just talks about how they process food now and just how they feel animals up with antibiotics and just steroids and just all sorts of stuff. Yes, ma'am. Juicing. Okay, so juicing, she just asked a question about juicing. And all the new stuff that comes out, it all goes back to the old stuff, but juicing is a double-edged sword. So if you juice, yes, you can lose a lot of weight. You can get a lot of vitamins into your body if you do it the right way. Okay, so make sure if you do juice, you really go into it and you research. You've met my coach, Matt, before. Both of you have met Matt. He's like an encyclopedia on all the raw, organic, and juicing stuff. So juicing is great. It's a great way to lose weight, but make sure if you do, you have to have the right protein and carb ratios. You have to get enough of all the nourishment into your body. A lot of times when people juice, they juice without getting the full circle into their body. And yes, they lose weight, but then they're weak, okay? Or they gain it all back, okay? But I've seen people who juice and they feel great. It's a good thing, and that's something that you can try out for a temporary time. Try it for about 7 days and just check your energy level, but also get with a professional and make sure. I had this one lady, have you ever seen that Naked drink? It's called Naked. This one lady came out and she was like, oh yeah, I'm juicing. And she just pulled out the Naked, and I'm like, no, you pouring sugar into your body. You might as well go eat a candy bar. Check the back, read the labels. If it has a label on it, then it's not real food, okay? You get you a Ninja, and when I'm not talking about a real Ninja, I'm talking about one of those blenders. You get you a Ninja, you throw some spinach in there, you just throw all the good stuff in there, you mix it up. Some blenders are so good nowadays, you can throw a whole chicken in there and it'll blend it. So whenever you do juicing, and if you go to my online magazine, which is on the website, it has an article about juicing, just the pros and cons. Everything you do, there's a double-edged sword. Even coffee. Who drinks coffee? Okay, don't get scared. I'm not going to try to take your coffee away, but coffee is a double-edged sword, okay? It boosts your metabolism. It gives you energy. It also increases your threshold for pain whenever you exercise. But on the other end, it works against you as a diuretic, so it just sucks water out of your body. So when your water levels are low, you burn 30% less calories. So it boosts your metabolism, but it also slows your metabolism. So just if you're a coffee drinker, get with me, because there's ways that you can still have your coffee, but you can get the results as well. But if you're drinking coffee, there's ways that it can be working against you, all right? So we talked about nutrition, exercise, rest, and the last leg of the table, supplementation. We talked about that. Aminos and omega-3s are great, okay? But like I said, anybody in this room, if you're looking at supplements, talk to your doctor first. And that way, make sure you're not taking anything that's going to cause any adverse reactions, okay? But back to exercise. We're going to do a couple of demo exercises. So first, I'm going to have my team out here demo a few simple exercises, and then we're going to have you do some buddy exercises that I used to do in the Army, okay? All right, thanks for participating. You may all be seated. All right, so we went through, talked about the 4 legs of the table, okay? And the thing is, if a table is missing one leg, no matter how good the other legs are, you're not gonna have that balance, okay? So if you're exercising 6 times a week and you're doing a great job on that, if you go home and eat a Happy Meal or some Krispy Kreme, then it's gonna lean that way. If your nutrition is on point, but you don't sleep and you don't exercise, the table's gonna fall another way. So it doesn't, you don't have to have you don't have to eat broccoli and chicken breasts every day, okay? It just has to be balanced. You make one leg. When you exercise, you don't have to be able to lift 400 pounds, all right? You just move your body a little bit more. You make another leg, get to bed at a good amount of time. You have another leg, and then the 4th leg, talk to your doctor about supplementation, and you have all 4 legs. And the longer your balance, the taller that table gets. The better your nutrition, the better you feel, the better your capacity to exercise, and it just improves everything. Just like Angela said, she had a burst she called me that day. She's like, oh man, after your workout, me and my girl, we walked another mile. I went grocery shopping, I did that. I was like, wow, oh man. Okay, so the thing is, and from she tells me how it affects her as far as the energy level. She zaps sometimes, but imagine if you just get a burst of energy, okay? So I pass out endorphins, so I guess you can call me a drug dealer, okay? Because I pass out endorphins all the time, all right? Endorphins, you're a drug dealer? No, endorphins are when you exercise and you release endorphins in your body, for those of you who didn't know. So the next part of this is you want to plug into as many positive outlets as possible, okay? So whenever you're trying to exercise, you have to plug into a bunch of positive people. So right in here, you're plugging in to everybody that's in this room right here this hour. Whenever you get out of this room, I'm going to talk about the 3 types of people that you want to avoid if you're really trying to get your body to the next level, or this can work with anything that you're trying to do, okay? So the first type of person that you want to avoid is a vampire. I don't mean a real vampire with the teeth. I'm talking about an energy vampire. For example, I might say, hey, Carolyn, how you doing today? She's going to say great because she's a motivated and positive person. But let's just say she's a vampire. So if I say, how you doing? She might say, oh, you know, well, I stubbed my toe. I think I broke it and I'm limping around. And every time you talk to that person, something is wrong. You know, it's like, ooh, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay the bill. It's like, man, they suck all your energy. And have you ever had that person, like after you talk to them for about 20 minutes, you're like this, you're tired, like it felt like you worked out? That's because they sucked all your energy. That's how they survive. And the thing is, right when they take all your energy, they go away. And so right when you're feeling good again, they call you again. So avoid a vampire, the energy vampire. The second type of person to avoid is a crab, all right? So let's just say you take, has anybody ever had crab before? I'm talking about fresh off the beach. I'm not talking about Red Lobster. I'm talking about at the beach. So have you noticed that whenever there's crabs in a bucket, there's never a top on it? Does anybody know why? Why is that? They pull each other down. So whenever you have a bunch of crabs in a bucket, when one climbs out, the other crabs get agitated. They reach up and they yank them right back down, all right? Raise your hand if you got a human crab in your life. Like whenever you say, like Angela may say, ooh, girl, I'm doing this boot camp. Ooh, but that's too early. Or you might say, hey, man, I got this new business idea that I want to start. Oh, you sure you want to do that? That's too risky. Or whatever it is, whenever you're trying to go up, you're trying to climb out of the bucket because you don't want to get boiled to death, okay? If I was a crab, I don't want to get boiled to death, okay? So you're trying to climb out of the bucket and they automatically pull you down, okay? So avoid that type of person because it's very, very dangerous. If you're hanging around vampires and crabs, how can you do that? If you want to walk, if I wanted to walk a mile and someone came out Nancy Kerrigan style, hit me in the kneecap, that's not good, okay? Same thing. The third type of person that you want to avoid, you may never heard this one, but this is a dangerous person as well, and you don't see it quite as much. But when I identify them, you're gonna think about 5 people that you know. The third type of person is called a yabbit. All right, and you're like, yabbit, what in the world is that? So, for example, I may say, Angela may come in and talk to her friends like, ooh, man, I did a great job at boot camp this morning. And then Carolyn may say, yeah, but you're not faster than me. Or I may say, ooh, Donald Trump, he got a lot of money. I hope one day that I can have that much money. Yeah, but his hair jacked up. It's like, ooh, wait a minute. So a yabbit is like the classic one-upper. They're always trying to one-up you. No matter who you meet, you may meet Michael Jordan, and they say, oh, well, but I met the president, or if they didn't do it, they know somebody else that did. And they're always, yeah, but this, yeah, but that. So you want to stay away from vampires, you want to stay from crabs, and you want to stay away from yabbits, all right? And it's just, if you stay away from those 3 types of people, that right there will move you in the right direction. And you want to plug into positive people. And the thing is, you either plug into something positive or you plug into something negative. You can't plug into anything neutral, okay? So even the stuff that we listen to, as we drive, most stations has nothing but gossip on there, just gossip. I like sports talk radio, I admit, but a lot of times when I listen to it, they talk about the negatives more than the day-to-day work because we're not attracted to that stuff from a rating standpoint, okay? So, and here's the wonderful thing about plugging into positive people. You can have as many plugs as you want. You don't have to, 4 minutes? Okay. See, I can go off on a tangent, but you don't have to have 2 plugs. I can plug into as many positive things that I want to. I can plug into Angela. I use Angela a lot because one day I had him working on something I call the back fat machine. It's this white contraption that I made and it has a fat grip and you lay on your back and you pull yourself up. And so one day I was taking everybody through the back fat machine and I saw some people, they laid down and it was like, they didn't really want to do it. So I saw perfectly healthy people, all right? Grabbing and it acted like they couldn't pull up. And then all of a sudden I looked at Angela and she just gripped it and she was working. That's when I first learned. And then, I saw the fingers. She still was just gripping that thing and she was just pulling herself up and she was determined. She was sweating and I was looking at her and I was like, wow, now that's determination, now that's effort. And on that day, when I drove home, you know, cause me, I'm a sucker for like movies like Gladiator, or movies where they get into a fight and the people cheer for them. So when I was going home, I felt like I had watched a movie. You know, I was like tearing up, I was like, woo, man. So, and the thing is, so, you know, every once in a while when I'm tired, you know, I will plug into as many positive outlets. So sometimes I use Angela as an example. I was like, man, if she wake up and she out there at 5 in the morning, what the world am I getting tired for? And so, and whenever you're tired, you can always get up and you can push yourself through. And I only got 2 minutes. I'm gonna tell you one more story, because there's times where you may be trying to get to the next level and you don't see any results. You don't see any movement, all right? The Chinese bamboo tree. The Chinese bamboo tree takes 5 years to grow, all right? Over a course of 4 years, you have to water it every day. If you don't water it every day, it's gonna mess up. All right, so if you miss one day, it messes up. On the 5th year, it grows 90 feet in 5 weeks. All right, so that's breakthrough, okay? So sometimes you may be doing something and you don't see anything, and you know it's the right thing to do. Have the mentality of a farmer. You just keep on going in the right direction, all right? And get yourself to the next level, all right? That's all the time I have, but hey, make sure you plug in, because like I said, I don't want you to have that hot air balloon effect. So right after you get out of here, what I'm doing, if you go to, she did that on purpose, no. If you go to iChooseFit.org, you click Camp Coalition, you click Online Personal Training. I made a free site for the Lupus Rally. For the username, you type in Lupus Rally, and for the password, you type in Lupus Rally. That's my online software. I'm gonna post workouts for, I'm not gonna say for people with lupus, but for people with disabilities or for people just starting out. So you're gonna, like tonight, I'm gonna get on that, and each week, I'm gonna post workouts, easy workouts that you can do. It has an animation showing you how to do the workout. It has a calendar. It has recipes, nutrition, everything. So take advantage, plug into it, and it has my email on my website. So any question that you have, you wanna do a 10-minute coaching call, all that is free, all right? Plug into the Positive Radio Station. So thanks for having me out. I really appreciate it. Oh, here you go.